And our records show that with the blood tests and such that you had, that your NK cells, your natural killer cells, so the different cells within your body that help to fight infection, went up tremendously with all the different supplements and the regimen that Dr. Verghese had put you on.
Also, do you recall, Frank and Lynn, when the test came back from different hospitals and oncologists that you went back to, that his CEA was going down. And one time, if I recall, it was 1.7, right? From 300 and so on. So you were rapidly improving with the special formulas we made for you, like we do for all the other patients.
Yes. I went to this one hospital in Washington Township, specialist in my type of cancer. It was prostate oncologist. And he was coming from California and he was going to go to Washington Township. He had a great big whole page ad in a paper. So I decided to go there. And when I walked in, he looked at my records. So he said, I can't believe the way you look. He says, I want you to go for clinical trials to New York, Sloan Kettering, and here at Washington Township, because according to these records, you shouldn't look the way you look now. He couldn't believe that I was even talking to him. But again, I started getting better because of the supplements and the diet and the formula. And I think mostly because of Jesus Christ, because I started reading my Bible. I was reading my Bible for months. And I would go through the motions, but you're in that much pain, you can't concentrate. You just try to read the Bible, but you can't. And I try to do it every day. The cancer affected my brain. I couldn't remember things. I couldn't think about anything. And Dr. Verghese talked about the brain. And he would tell me about how the brain, you could heal the brain through supplements and things that he would do. And he even wrote a book on it, Brain Power. And it took him quite a while to do it. And I couldn't remember anything. He would ask me questions, I couldn't think of anything. But he even had in his book about Alzheimer's disease, and the supplements actually would help Alzheimer patients. It's a wonderful book that I learned quite a bit about it. Not only spiritual things, but physical things as well. You're made up of your spirit. You have a body, a spirit, and a soul. And you have to feed each one of them. God, the Lord, made us. And every one of us is special. We're made special. Everybody is different. As you were treating me, I was taking the supplements and I started getting better. And little by little, now it's a slow process, I started feeling more energetic. I started redoing my house, remodeling my house, tearing the old plaster walls down and rebuilding everything again. And then a friend said to me, well, why don't you have a garden since you have organic food? Lifting leaves up to put into the organic garden. And I hurt my back. I did something to my back. But now I had to go to the hospital and I had to get these tests. So the first thing they did is they gave me an x-ray. They wanted to give me a CAT scan. I said, no, I don't want a CAT scan. So they gave me 15 more x-rays. These were detailed x-rays. They admitted me for 4 days because the pain was so severe. And I told them I had metastasized bone cancer. And they also did an MRI. I had forgotten.
Full body MRI.
I was in there 4 days. The fourth day, I had an orthopedic surgeon and a DO, doctor of osteopath. They were my doctors in the hospital. Both of them came up this one particular day and they said, what did you say you had? I said I had metastasized bone cancer. The doctor there, the DO said...
Which hospital was that?
Oh, Underwood Hospital
in
Woodbury.
Woodbury.
Mm-hmm. And he said, what did you say you had? I said I had metastasized bone cancer. And the doctor said, it's impossible. I said, it's impossible? How is it impossible? He said, if you had metastasized bone cancer, he said, you wouldn't be, if you had metastasized bone cancer, you'd see scarring on the films. You'd see scarring where the cancer was, because what happens is the tumors form on the crust of the bone marrow and push up the bone and break the bone. And he said if you had that, you would see it on the scans and the X-rays. And he says there's nothing on the X-rays or nothing on the MRI that shows it. I said I had 87 reports at home that showed
From
that
different hospitals,
that did have metastasized cancer. So the doctor said, well, I'd like to see them. So the very next day, my wife brought them in when we were in the hospital. And he had one report that he had and a report that I had brought. My wife brought just two of the reports in, a bone scan and an MRI. And he looked at both MRIs and he couldn't believe it. He was shaking his head. He said, it can't happen. I said, well, I guess it's a modern miracle, isn't it, doctor? And with that, he says, yeah, it might be a modern miracle, but I don't know how you were healed. I said, I know how I was healed. I said, the Lord Jesus Christ healed me. Well, with that, he walked out. And he walked into the rooms. I saw him walking out to the rooms, and he was showing the other doctors in the hospital my reports. They couldn't believe it. Well, then he was faxing them to different places.
How does the treatment at Integrative Medicine and Biofeedback Clinic compare to other places?
It's the only place I've ever known that he formulates the things like that, and he caters everything to your specific needs, and whatever type of disease or ailment you have. I had lost my insurance during this time. After about 3 years, my insurance company dropped me because of how expensive it was over the years. Yet Dr. Verghese still let me come without taking insurance. You don't get many doctors that do that today. That's why it's so important that he's looking for a bigger clinic, that he can treat more people and have a lot of medical staff there, that he'd be able to work with these patients that he desperately would like to. And he had a heart that he would let me go for over a year without getting insurance. And it was, I was really deeply moved for that, because I didn't know where I would go to after that if he would have dropped me. Based on my experience and what I've gone through, how many hospitals I went to, and just my experience of going to medical places, he's the one that, again, suitors to your own taste, whatever it may be, but he would like to be able to get a larger place where he could treat the people and doctors would help the people.